Welcome in, welcome back, welcome to Stream-of-Unconsciousness, where the subject's made up and the words don't matter. Today we're going to cover a little bit more in my random collecting of Star Wars figures that I appreciate and like. As you know, I think the last one I reviewed was our Han Solo in stormtrooper outfit, which I actually like quite a bit. I don't like the Hasbro hips the way they're designed, but other than that, that's a Hasbro thing. That's not really a figure thing. I did notice on inspection of this figure that his hair is actually a separate piece, which I thought was interesting. Will decrease paint rub if you were to remove the helmet frequently. Nicely designed, sculpted helmet. I did have some older ones. I did have the original mail-away Kellogg's Han Solo from the Power of the Force initial release. And, I don't remember how many proofs of purchase you had to send in for this, but you send it in and you wait about 8 years. No, I'm just kidding. It seemed like it was a number of months before it actually arrived. I thought maybe they had lost whatever it was, and of course you didn't actually pay any money for it, so it wasn't that big a deal. He did not come with the weapon, obviously. That's from another Power of the Force stormtrooper, but he did come with the helmet. Seen here with one of my favorite Power of the Force Chewbacca's. I didn't like the original one. I didn't like a lot of the original ones because they were just the original Power of the Force figures. They were too muscular. I also have this Luke, which I believe is from A and Escape in the Death Star game. I had another one where this helmet came from who did not have the slicked back hair, but I actually prefer the slicked back look. So this is from Luke when he's in the trash compactor. Decent figure. So we got our big fat arms hitting the camera, and we've got Luke and Han next to Chewbacca in their stormtrooper outfits, and over here we have Han alone. And I thought that needed to be rectified, so I went ahead and picked up the Luke in stormtrooper outfit, just so I would have a matching set there. Just looking at the card art is nice. And the figure seems to be nicely sculpted. We'll get more into that when we open the blister, because there's a little bit of damage to the card, but that's okay. I wasn't saving the card anyway. Here's some of the other figures you can get in this particular line from the vintage collection. I may or may not check out the Bespin Luke. I do have a good Lando from the initial vintage collection release. He was sort of I felt a little bad because there were a ton of them on the pegs. He was a little bit of a peg warmer, and I thought this is a fantastic Billy D. Williams sculpt. I don't know if I need the general. We'll have to see. My action figure purchases are very restricted, so I have to get the stuff that I really, really want. But I may end up considering the Bespin Luke there. But very colorful card. Very nicely done. It's decent-ish cardboard. It's not as thick as the old ones, but, you know, things are never the same. So now we go through the process of killing several collector's souls by cutting him loose from his plastic prison. I've never been much of a mint-in-box collector, to be honest. So we open. It's the general tray that Hasbro figures come in, the warnings and don't eat this, and here's how we'll sue you if you steal our IP, that kind of thing. So there he is in all his glory. Go ahead and start popping him out of there. Creakily, crackly, creakily, crackly. We'll set that down for a moment, and let's take a look at the figure itself before we get into the accessories. So, all things considered, that's actually, it looks a little bit old for his age in the movie, since he was like 19, or in his early 20s, I forget exactly. Yes, don't sue me. But that's actually a decent Mark Hamill likeness. Again, the hair appears to be a separate piece. It does have a little bit of dry brushing on it to make it slightly more interesting, but it is a separate piece. So normal articulation, twist and bend elbows, the wrists twist, the shoulders raised and lower, ab crunch, twist at the ab crunch. It does not twist at the waist, it twists at the ab crunch, so that's a little interesting. And then the horrible Hasbro hips that like to go out sideways, and then the knees that bend and twist, and then the camera that focuses, and then the ankle rockers. Overall, not too bad. I don't know if it's a reused body. I don't think it is. The chest, well, maybe not. It may just be the lighting here. Outside the camera, his chest piece looks a little bit wider than Solo's, but perhaps not. Perhaps it is the same. Well, there's a little bit of difference there in that he's got his communicator to call C-3PO on his belt, which is not part of the Solo figure, which is difficult to see in the demo. Because I got his arm posed in the way, but there we go. So that's an interesting little detail on the belt. The belt at least is different. The holster, I think, might be practical. The Solo figure's holster is very flat, although I guess you could wedge something in there if you wanted, but it's not going to hold it very well. Whereas this holster has some bulk to it. So the belt at least is different for sure. I'm not completely sure about the body itself, though. So, as with all of these, they don't stand up very well. No, that wasn't what I was going to say. He comes obviously with his helmet for the disguise and the blaster, stormtrooper rifle. Again, this is similar to the one that comes with the Solo figure. And it's got the silver ejection port and the silver butt cap. And the helmet, which may or may not be identical. They're very similar. Although the Luke one may have a tiny bit of a taller crown. And whether that's a new sculptor molding issues. I wouldn't imagine they would do a lot of new retooling on these figures, considering, again, I like these figures, but Hasbro does go out of their way to save as much money as they possibly can on some of their releases, so I would not put it out of the realm of possibility that they are reusing some of these rather than retooling them. The helmet fits nicely, though, as you saw. Pops right in his head. I have misplaced his weapon. Yeah, I could probably wedge that in there. I don't want to. I think it's going to probably bend the plastic on the rifle a little bit if I keep wedging that in there, but it will definitely fit, and obviously it will fit into his, as I can't get it in, it will fit into his hand there. I believe, yeah, both hands are set up to be able to hold a gun, although Hamill is right-handed, I believe, so it makes more sense to have it in the right hand. But there you have it. The Luke Skywalker and Stormtrooper disguise from the Vintage Collection. Removable helmet. Decent portrait, even if it is a little bit old for Hamill in the original movie. But I like it. It'll make a good addition to my collection if he ever stands up straight. I'm going to turn his knee a little bit. There we go. There we go. And then we knock him back into Chewbacca anyway, because we are just that smart. There we go. So there we go. Han and Luke in their stormtrooper outfits from the vintage collection. Pretty decent figures, especially for some of the issues that people have with Hasbro body types. But I think these have done really well. And I think that will be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you feel it necessary. Let me know what you think, and we will talk to you later.